Hello, listeners. Welcome to the Dream Stream podcast. I am your host, Yiskah Koock, here with fellow dreamer, Ellen Ronis.
Hello.
Hi, Ellen.
Hello.
Hi. Hi. So I'm excited that you have some dreams that you want to share.
Oh my gosh, I do.
Hey.
Yeah.
Please do.
You want to just jump right in?
I sort of do. I feel so blah right now. My life is very rolling along.
Okay, I'm gonna have a dog.
I would like to go back into the dream space. Thank you.
Get a puppy.
Oh, how cute! Oh, I love that puppy.
Jamil. This is my friend Nina's dog, and
what's her name?
His name is Jamil.
Jamil.
He's a very good boy.
Yes.
I've never had a lap dog before.
Oh, I know.
Anyway, what?
I was just going to say as big as they are, though they might think they're lap dogs.
Yeah,
they're a little big for that.
Yes, we've had the big ones.
Yes.
Anyway, I hear what you're saying. Life is kind of blah, and sometimes it's like that. Like we go through these phases. I know those.
Yes.
I think I'm going through like a kind of a internal juicy phase.
Oh,
actually.
Wonderful.
Yeah, but that came after like a major depression and so it's this like cycle around. And
it's always interesting for me to see what bed are you sleeping in when you have the dreams that mean more to you. I found I'm often sleeping not in my own bed, visiting somebody when I have a dream that I want to remember and I want to work with. Do you notice anything with that? I know you're house sitting right now.
Yeah, well, no, I've been really not sleeping well, and her house just, because of the physicality and the not cleanness, everything feels like sticky, like physically and energetically sticky.
Okay.
Anything like the air, it just feels sticky to me energetically. And so not sleeping that well, like I'm sleeping either really hard or up a lot with the dog. And I don't know, so no, I've only been here a couple of days and I haven't had any dreams here, but I know what you're talking about. I have had that happen where I go to a friend's house or visiting and I have like really cool dreams. Yeah. Different environment, I guess, or something.
So you're dreaming at your own home.
I'm dreaming at my own home.
Fabulous.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to read this because I don't remember it off the top of my head.
Okay.
And I'm not used to myself in like normal lighting. I'm used to that cool ring light that makes you look so nice and fabulous. This one's like, oh yeah, that's what I look like. In reality, that's what I look like. All good. Okay.
All good.
So this was actually the beginning of January 4th. I don't know, what's significant about that. That's just the date. I was in an underground mall type place where there was a train station, sort of like Grand Central or Penn Station in New York, but it felt like I was in Seattle or somewhere in the Pacific Northwest. I was with my friend Elena and two other younger women who were like dark, meaning dark skin, dark hair, and sanguine, kind of apathetic, didn't care much about anything. They were both sort of tall and thin and kind of pretty and just, have that sort of nonchalant, I don't care about anything attitude. I was late and missed the train. I thought they had gone on without me, but they waited for me without much care about it. I'd been in the bathroom and I couldn't find privacy. There was no door, people passing in front of me, including men. Felt really disturbed when I woke up. And I was wondering where we were going. That was my own question to myself. That was a dream.
Yes. Oh, yes. That's interesting because that gives me a similar feeling from hearing that dream as the feeling I was getting from this is, I know, not connected, but the house sit. It's like sticky in the air, I feel that same discomfort with this dream as I do hearing that. It's interesting to me. So do these women remind you of anyone that you might know in waking life?
Well, the interesting thing is one of the women is my friend Elena, who's just my friend. She's younger than me. She's like in her early 40s. And
Okay,
for whatever that, maybe that's significant somehow. And she's
okay,
a very sweet, lovely person. And another Pisces. And she's just a friend. I think she's one of my first friends here in New Mexico.
okay.
So maybe that's significant. I don't know. And the other two women they didn't look like anybody specific that I know, but they felt like a certain kind of, like, how sometimes like really young people, like, I mean, in their teens and 20s, they're
Yes,
like, whatever, like they, you know what I mean?
I do. I do.
They don't care about anything, or they're on their phone,
Yes,
or they're just like,
yes,
and
yes.
they're really like these really beautiful girls,
They
and they
care about different things.
care about
They're
different things.
they're not
Very,
interested necessarily in the collective, but they're interested
most,
in
most definitely not.
my jacket or
Right,
my,
right. Whatever it is. They didn't necessarily have that. Like, they weren't necessarily
Okay,
dream concerned about their clothing. They were just very sort of nonchalant. They weren't fancy. They
nonchalant.
both had like long dark hair, and they were sort of
Yes,
tall and thin and kind of pretty. And
yes.
I mean, the sense was, I don't know, it was like, were they Elena's friends? Were they, I don't know. I just don't know who they were, but they were with
Yes.
her. They were with Elena, and we were all together, like going someplace.
Okay, okay. And
Um,
I was interested also, if I may ask a
yeah,
clarifying question. Sorry.
sure. That's okay,
Sorry
Elizabeth.
about Bob.
Oh, oh, Tail.
I know. I first was feeling, I'm the dreamer, and I'm first feeling that they're very nonchalant, these women, they really don't care.
Mhm.
But then I think they left without me, but they didn't. They did
Yeah.
have a care for me, and that I wouldn't be late. Is that correct? Is that
Well, yeah. It was like they actually waited for me, like without being annoyed, or but without,
yeah,
they weren't freaked out, they weren't annoyed, they just waited. So there was
yes,
some kind of a sense of care, I guess. Uh,
right.
but then, but they didn't care. But there was something, yeah, they waited for me without much care about it, is the way I wrote it. But so yeah, that could sort of be two things. But I guess, yeah, they were just kind of cool with it. It was kind of like, whatever. Oh yeah,
Yes.
whatever. We waited, whatever. It wasn't like we waited for you because we care so much about you. They
It
just waited.
just, it's so, I'm sorry to interrupt. It just strikes me as interesting because it really had nothing to do with them when the transportation is going to go. When the
Uh,
train is leaving, really has nothing to do with these two women,
mhm.
but they waited for me if I'm the dreamer. And so did the train wait for me also? Or was there waiting for me that caused the train to wait for me?
I don't have a sense of that, whether the
Yeah.
train was there or not there. Like, the train
Okay.
was insignificant.
Yeah. So the train
The
was less
bathroom,
significant.
the bathroom aspect, we've all had, I think many of us have had dreams like that, right? With the
Yes.
bathroom, no privacy, and there's no door.
Oh, yes.
It's very frustrating, um,
Yes.
and kind of unnerving. And so that's a very common sort of theme for a lot of people. And I certainly is
Sure.
for me in my past too. So it was that type of thing. But
Right.
for some reason that felt more significant in the dream, that I couldn't find. So I guess it's like, I'm with these women, and maybe there's a generational thing, right? So Ellen is like 20 years younger than me. Well, like 18 years younger than me. And then these women were like in their 20s. So maybe there's something significant to that.
Yes. Yes.
Um, and why, what's the bathroom part? I don't know. Like, why in this dream was that
Yes.
thing? I just don't have a sense.
No, let's think about that. I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm wanting privacy, but I'm not having it,
Yeah.
it makes me feel vulnerable. It
Mhm.
makes me feel, yeah, what would that signify in my life? So I'm going to ask Dreamer, does that feel familiar to anything going on in the dreamer's waking life? Or like, but I really would like some privacy right now, and I'm not really able to get it.
Interestingly, my living situation, which is that I live in a household of people, a couple and their family. It's just a couple right now, but I've been living in that circumstance for a long time, and it's been very difficult, but right now it's been very easy. There's
Yes.
no kids are home. Her brother is not there. It's just me and I have the entire wing of the house to myself, like my own bathroom, like a little sitting area. I mean, it's just kind of perfect. But
Yes.
and also the couple is doing better in the household, which means they're doing better with each other, is what I mean.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah, which they weren't at all for a long time. So I feel more easeful. They feel better. There's a
Yes.
little more interaction between us all. We've even shared some dinner. So interestingly, right now, it's actually better.
That's very good.
I do have more privacy, so it doesn't really grok. I would
Well,
say
they did wait for me. They did wait for me on the train. So I don't know. I mean, that's just one positive thing that I'm feeling, that they're waiting for me. So I'm able to, I might be older and slower.
Oh, maybe it does have to do with that. Like,
Yeah.
right. Like I need to go use the bathroom because older people need to do that more often. It didn't feel like that.
With more frequency
It's true.
than younger people.
Oh my God.
Sorry, I would much rather hear your take on it.
No, I don't know. I don't really know. I don't really have anything, just much to say.
It rings to me of importance because the dream I had on January 4th. And I always feel like the first remembered dream from the new year might have something to teach me. And so I'm really wanting to just explore that and unpack it and acknowledge that it may have seemed less than satisfying at first, but it all worked out in the end.
Well, how do you see that it all worked out in the end? Just because they waited for me?
They waited for me.
Yeah. I mean, I guess.
I mean, not really. I'm just.
Yeah.
Trying to.
Yeah. I don't. Maybe that's it. I don't know.
Yeah. So, and this other dream that you want to share, do you feel in any way it's connected to that dream?
It doesn't seem so. It was the next day.
Okay.
So I'll just start with this next dream. This was really interesting.
Okay.
I woke up in a big, cozy playroom type space. Like we were visiting someone, and I had been sleeping in this. The space felt like a playroom, like an old-fashioned 1970s playroom type of thing. And I was I had been sleeping in this space with Heather and Tom. They're people that I know that they used to be sort of friends of mine.
Okay.
And we're still like Facebook friends, but we're not really that close or really connected. But they kind of gathered with us now and again.
Okay.
And I have more to say about them, but I'll say that later. So I had been sleeping in this space with Heather and Tom. It was 1:30 p.m. I'd way overslept. I had been at work I had to be at work to start at 2. So I needed.
Oh my gosh.
Obviously that wasn't happening. I needed a shower. Tom stepped out so I could change my underwear, but was so sleepy that I couldn't do it fast enough and ended up putting the same ones back on before Tom came in. And Heather was asking him to stay out so I could change my underwear. Then there was a whole thing about trying to run and rush to work through the streets, rushing about, rushing everywhere, running around. And my hair was dirty, like I hadn't had a chance to take my shower. So my hair was dirty and I didn't have a chance to put it up. So, you couldn't tell if it was dirty. And I wanted to steal someone's clips who had left them on some tables at a coffee shop. Like I was like running through the streets and through this coffee shop, and there were like some clips left on a table, and I wanted to just like snatch them to put my hair up.
Clearly they were there for me as the dreamer.
Right. Why would they
dream?
Right. Oh, thank you. You left those there for me. I really needed those. And let's see what else. There's at some point, a clip had fallen on the floor, and I put my foot on it so that this girl who lost it wouldn't see it, in the hopes that I could take it and put my hair up. What the? Yeah.
The end.
The end.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Yeah.
So first of all, the two people, are they
Yeah.
a couple? What are
They're
they?
a couple. Heather and Tom are a couple.
Heather and Tom.
Yeah, Heather and Tom, and they've been together for quite some time. And
Okay.
they used to come to my Pilates class
Okay.
together. And,
Okay.
you know, she raises Malinois. She fosters Malinois dogs.
Malinois?
Malinois, it's like a Belgian Malinois. They're like a type of a shepherd, but they can be.
Oh,
Anyway, she's really into that. And
like
she's
Malamutes.
no, not even close. They don't
No.
look
Okay.
more like a shepherd. Yeah,
Okay.
they look kind of like shepherds. They're just, I don't know, they're just a super I really like them. They're very interesting.
Yes.
She's got a very prominent voice on Facebook, you know, but very personal. You know, she just shares her stuff. She's very funny. She's a great writer. So I kind of follow her stuff, and, you know, she's, you know, really we have no real contact except for that, but I kind of like their life in a way. I like
Yes.
what they're up to and what they do, and how she talks about their life, and it's just sort of
Yes.
entertaining, and and I feel like a nice heart feeling towards them, but they're not really friends.
Do they have any kids?
They do. I think they each have a daughter, grown, at this point, grown.
Okay.
Yeah.
And right. So it's not like their house has a playroom in it.
I wouldn't have the slightest idea if their house is like, if I've been in their house. So no.
Let's talk about your playroom in the 1970s.
Yeah.
Tell me about your playroom in the 1970s.
It could have been that. It was just a basement room, you go downstairs, and the finished part of the basement's over there, and the finished part's over here. And, there was a TV down there with a couch and chairs, and all our stuff, our our toys and blocks and things were down there.
Yes.
And it wasn't, I don't know. It was, I don't know. The room.
I mean, that brought such a picture to me, the 1970s playroom, because
I know, right? Like
some of my better childhood memories are from the 1970s playroom.
I'm sure a lot of people, not me so much, but I mean, I did. That was a fun, it was always like a cool, whatever.
Yes.
It was a cool place to hang out.
Let's ask some Robert Moss questions.
Sure.
Does this dream have a title, or what would you title it?
I have no idea. I was going to say The Long Sleepover.
Maybe. Okay, right, because I wake up so late.
Yeah, or I'm late, something like that. Yeah. But it's so much more than just being late, like the thing with the hair. It's so significant to me.
The underpants.
The underwear, like I'm trying to, that's what I do every day. If I don't, change my underwear, right?
You change your undies.
And because I was in the room on a sleepover with Heather and Tom, like I didn't want to do that in front of him, right? So and Heather was being very like sisterhood, like nice to him, but like get out of the room. So I'll do that. And
I find it funny. I don't do it.
And I don't do it. Exactly. That's what's so funny. I couldn't manage it no matter what. No matter how much time I had, I couldn't manage it.
That's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know how it would connect with this, but it definitely makes me think of menopause in a way, because it was important to change my undies when I was still menstruating, because depending, on the day in the month, but I don't know, it seems like less of an issue like that now that I'm in menopause. I mean, it's still whatever. Just one idea.
I know what you mean. I think it was just significant, and like that's part of my daily routine, part of the getting dressed, for the day. Yeah. But underwear, I mean, it was very specific. And so what is underwear? It's like, it's also a little bit vulnerable, right?
Wear
Like
it next to my
kind of-
skin.
it's right. It's your under layer. It's the layer that's closest to your body. It's personal. It's very personal.
Yes.
Um,
Now let me ask you a personal question, if I may.
mhm.
Do you have any, when was the last time you bought new undies?
Oh God, who knows? I could, yeah, I don't know. I don't
Right,
really know.
well, so,
Not
okay,
that
well,
long, not actually that long ago, because
oh,
I do,
okay.
yeah, not actually that long ago.
If this was my dream, I want to get myself a pair of like red, I want to get myself a red lacy thong. I'm just kidding, but I'm just, I want to get myself a very pretty pair of underwear just for my own pleasure,
Mhm.
that's later in our dream work process. But so is there anything you would like to know in particular about this dream?
I guess like I'm wondering like why was I so obsessed with my hair? Like what was the big deal, like this.
Yeah.
So it was like almost as if I didn't, I guess so I guess these are it's interesting because it is pretty vulnerable to say this, but in waking life, if I don't have time for a shower, which is not a huge deal, like if I haven't like
Right.
worked up a sweat or whatever, like I don't always shower every day.
You don't have to say anything to me. I live in New
Right.
Paltz.
So, but I'll wash and I'll change my underwear.
Yeah,
And the whole
exactly.
world knows my personal life.
Yeah.
And I will just because if my hair is looking like flat or stringy or whatever,
Yes.
I'll
Yes.
just take it and put it up and like,
Yeah.
okay, here, done, and then
Yes.
no one noticed. And I think so it's like almost like that was trying to happen. That was trying to happen where I'm doing a thing I do when I can't have a shower, when I can't like get, start
And there's
fresh.
no time, when there's no
And
time for a
to
shower.
start fresh, right? So I don't know. That seems connected and somehow right. I don't know what that means, but just that. And why Heather and Tom? I don't really know.
That
I
time,
like their relationship. I think.
okay.
I like their
Oh,
relationship.
beautiful. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, from what I can see from the outside, who the heck really knows? But they have humor. They have a lot of humor with one another. He does really awesome things for her. He builds her things. He's building her a house, I think, or something.
Wow.
But like really kind of seems sweet to me and
Mhm.
funny. A lot of humor. So
Yes.
maybe that's just significant in that it was them, and like maybe that's a kind of a relationship that I would like to have.
Yes.
I don't know how it's connected to the other stuff. I don't
Do,
really.
do I have a sense of what my job was that I was
That's
running?
another thing I was curious about is where am I going? Like,
Yes.
I'm like flipping out because I got to get there. Like
Yes.
that I couldn't just call say, hey, I'm going to be late. I
Yes.
just running through the streets to get there. So I don't have any sense of it. I have
Okay.
no sense of what my job was.
Okay. Was it like something with flowers? Was it something with books?
No
Something with
idea.
the books? Was
It
it
might have
something
been
with art?
massage. It might have been what I do now. It
Yeah.
might have been like,
Right. Right. So that's like a little unknown, and that's fine because
I
that's
just have no idea where I was. I just know
yeah.
I had to get to work. That's all I know. I had to get to work, and it was that immediacy and that need to run and need to just get on with it. Like whatever was happening, the sleepover, the whole thing. It was like gotta move.
One other question I have for you is you say the clips are on a table in like a cafe. Is it like just like a cafe? Am I stopping there to get a coffee and then I see the clips?
No, I was literally like running through the streets and there's like a sidewalk cafe and I see clips right on the
perfect. How perfect.
Not for me, I want to grab them, but I think, oh, there's somebody else's,
Yeah, that might be so.
It also just reminds me of this kind of funny thing that sometimes I don't know, whatever, I'll just say it, like I'll find something on like a clip or some random thing that's
Yes.
just the junk, right? But something like a rubber band, like a hair tie or a clip or
Yes.
I don't know what, some other little thing like that you just find like on the street
Yeah.
somewhere. And it makes me feel like I found a treasure.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is free. It could be something that costs $2 in the store. And I get excited about it.
At least the clips were on a table and not on the ground.
I know. So it was a little
probably
bit
am.
like that.
I'm
It was
probably
like,
guilty of, picking things up off the ground, and hopefully that's not part of my life anymore.
yeah. Yeah. So I don't know.
I mean, I was kind of kidding when I said it, but kind of not. I mean, the clips are there for the taking. It's my dream,
Mhm.
like I
Yeah.
dare anyone to tell me I can't have these clips in my own dream.
Yeah, but there was like a kind of a desperation to do
Ah,
something, with my hair. Like it was like I can't go in like this. I have to have, it was like, and I just couldn't believe I had left without doing that. And so it was kind of interesting that those clips were there. They were
yes.
on the table, and that somebody dropped a clip, and I stepped on it like, oops, she won't see it. I'm gonna just pick it up and like.
You like put your foot over it.
Yeah, like
So
it's
it's out of sight.
dropped off of somebody, or she dropped somebody, a young girl, something, and she dropped it. And I was like, oh, she won't notice. She didn't even notice it fell out of her hair.
I love it.
And I quickly stepped on it, like taking ownership.
If it's going to bring me so much stress that my hair is not ready for work, then I'm taking the clip. She doesn't even know she dropped it,
Yeah. Like it was more important to me that I had that than
And it would have been to her.
Yeah, or that it would have been for me to say, hey, you dropped your clip here. It's like, nope, you dropped your clip, it's mine.
Finders
I'm
keepers. So,
So,
okay, now
I
I
don't
know all of these are not completed, but I want to keep going because I know you're filled with images in these wonderful dreams. So if you don't mind, I mean, it'll be dreamer's choice,
Yeah.
of course, but can we go on to the third dream?
Yeah, the third dream is the one I had last night. I had so many, unfortunately I have the different notebook that I have other dreams in, that many other ones that are even more interesting, but not that these were so interesting, but
I think they were. I think they're very interesting.
like I don't know what they mean, and they see anyway, but I don't have them with me. So the dream I had last night was that I was in an art space, like a studio of some sort, and it was maybe a workshop. And I had done a painting that was like orange and yellow, kind of like chunky squares, like not precise, but just, blobs, kind of square blob type things. Not anything I would ever normally paint. And it was not a good painting, but that's what I painted. And I was starting to kind of criticize it. It was funny because there was a certain kind of a layout of the way the people were. And I was sitting at a desk, and there was some guy that was behind me, but he had this almost larger than life kind of feeling. He was young and seemed just like almost like a spirit. Like
wow.
But it was like the teacher, but the image of him was different in my mind. And he said, like, don't criticize, but don't do that. Just don't do that. Just say some nice things about it. And that was the whole dream.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean, that just seems pretty.
And that is the answer to my 2 previous dreams.
I don't see the connection whatsoever, but
no, I'm just kidding. The answer is where was I running off to? Some art,
right, maybe.
maybe, but I love that. I think that's the best advice that any teacher
right
give us. Don't criticize yourself. Like,
and the fact that it was this, like, even though he seemed like it was an actual teacher, like a young guy who was a teacher, and I thought that was also really cool that he was so young, and not so young, but he was quite a bit younger than me, and that he had this kind of simple wisdom to say. And also that it did have this feeling of like larger than life, or not human, like spirit maybe, or like his body, he was kind of elongated and kind of like over here,
Wow, like I have an image of that. I think this is a message then that was coming to me, and he was sort of the deliverer. He was a messenger, and so he was delivering me the message that is coming from spirit, from my highest self. And I appreciate his wisdom. It's really
Yeah. And you know, I've been writing a lot lately, and I read this piece in a virtual literary salon that is given by my teacher. And
yes. How did that go, Ellen?
it went so well.
Oh, congratulations.
So well. Thank
So
you.
happy.
Really, I really love the piece I wrote, but it's kind of a version of poetry. It's sort of poetic. It's not like a story.
Like prose.
I guess it's prose. It's kind of like it's a personal journal with poetry, but it was deep and beautiful to me. But I was so nervous because I thought, who's gonna, everyone else in the group told a story, and I had stories to tell, but the group decided for me to read. We decided each other's pieces, so they decided that I should read that one. So I did, and I think the whole criticism thing, like that comes up a lot in writing. Like I'll start to write and it's just, what am I driveling on about? That's the first thing that often comes to me when I'm writing. Right. And then I read it to my group and they're like, holy shit, wow, that's amazing. So like, I think I don't even realize, I'm now starting to, that what comes through me is actually kind of cool. And, I'm going to say amazing. It's not amazing, but it's like pretty significant. And I'm actually a pretty good writer, as it turns out.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy to hear this.
Thank you. And I know you are such a good poet.
No, I mean, not lately. And thank you.
Well, but yeah, I know that happens too, right? We go like this. We totally do.
Yeah.
I know.
As we established in the beginning of the podcast, I'm kind of like,
yeah, you're in a little rut, but yeah. And this is going off the rails here a little bit, but I have ADD, and I finally diagnosed, which not finally, but it was diagnosed.
Did you say you have ADD?
I have ADD, yes.
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't have it to the point where I need medication or any of that stuff, but I do have it. Absolutely. And I kind of joked about it with someone my therapist, and she said, yes, you do actually have that.
Oh, really?
Tell me sooner. She said, well, there's no point in labeling it.
Yeah.
You manage your life pretty well, you know yourself. But she said, yeah, you absolutely do. And then we did this test.
I would never notice.
Well, because I've been sort of living with it my life, so I can focus like now when there's another person and we're doing a thing. But like in 5 minutes, like right now, I'm having a really hard time not being distracted by the cat right there. It's just doing a sweet thing. And I'm like, I want to be looking over there. But the way it comes out for me, well, there's a lot of ways, but one of the ways is that I have a hard time staying focused on one project, right? So like I'm writing now I'm writing, but if you remember, I became a potter, right? So now I'm like, my pottery is like sort of like whatever. I mean, I'll get back to it probably, but maybe not. And that's really frustrating because it's like I feel like I never complete anything. So I'm distracted when I'm there. I'm thinking about writing. When I'm writing, I'm thinking about pottery. When I'm doing painting, I'm thinking it's always a distraction. It's always like there's something else to do, which could be not ADD, but it is how it.
Yes.
Ways that it comes through. There's very, very easily distracted. So my point in saying all that is that now I'm writing, but tomorrow I may not. And I didn't today. And I wrote 4 days ago. Will I write again ever? I don't know, probably because I'm taking a class, but maybe I'll only write during the class and I won't ever write, it's just like that. It's just like that. And then there'll be a fallow period where I'm doing nothing and I'll be depressed. And then I come, so.
Well, I'm going to give you the advice that my friend Jim and he is a very good friend of mine from high school. He was a year younger, who we went on Dead Tour together. And there was one show we were seeing, I think it was like Meadowlands, and kids were jumping from the seats down to the field. They wanted to be in like general admission, but somebody broke their ankle doing that. And Jim and I were like, why does everyone want to jump down? And our thing is, the party's where you make it, man. The party's where you make it. Like this is where it's at. This is where it's at. Like create this, the place that we want to be, so we don't break our ankles trying to get to, grass is greener over there.
Right.
But so, I mean, it's not really. I mean, I absolutely love your exploration of all the arts, and I've been very interested in everything you're discovering about yourself and about different mediums. But all I can say is, parties where you make it. It's like.
Well, I think that's really what I'm coming to. I find when once I realized that about myself, I stopped making myself bad for being that way.
Yes.
For my whole life, I was like, oh my God, what is wrong with me that I can't stay with anything? I get super, super excited about the idea of a thing, and then I maybe do like 5 seconds of it, or 2 weeks of it, or 6 months, and then I'm done. And then I'm like frustrated because I'm not doing anything. And like, what happened to that joy that I was having? So I'm coming to an interesting place with it, where I'm actually just
comfort with oneself and in one's own process. And
great, I'm doing this now, and I'm not doing the pottery. So
yeah. Okay.
Who cares? Who cares?
Right.
I'll get back to it, or I won't. It really doesn't matter.
Or I won't.
Or I won't. That's what I'm saying. I'll get back to it, or I won't, and it doesn't matter. I'll probably always paint some in between here and there, like because I've always done that. But and I've always written actually too, but now it has a different flavor to it, the writing. But yeah, it's okay. And it's actually great. Like, why not see it as this is a great aspect of myself instead of, and all of us, like, okay, so this is this part I'm kind of
absolutely.
And then just trust that there'll be this other thing that we'll get back to.
One thing I would like to do when I'm thinking of these dreams, because I am seeing the thread through them. I mean, I was sort of kidding when I said, well, this answers the other 2 dreams, but I could see how it's sort of a progression and woven it together. And one way that I want to honor this dream, or, specifically the one with the painting, I want to actually paint that yellow and orange painting, a small one. I just want to do it. And then I want to say exactly what the teacher said to me. Now say some good things about it, and then I want to, appreciate that work that I do. That's just me. I'm not saying dreamers should do that. That's projection.
Yeah, I could see that. Or at least maybe the next piece of anything that I do, whether it's art or pottery or writing or whatever, that I just appreciate it and don't immediately jump into the critique, which is what I do.
Right. That's
like,
right.
Oh my God, what is this drivel? Like, I will literally write that down. I'll write a bunch of stuff, and then I'll write, what is this bullshit nonsense I'm writing about? Like, I write
I've been in that headspace, but I've also been in the opposite headspace. I hope this doesn't label me as something way on the other side, narcissistic, but I've written things and I've been like, this is really good. This is so good. And then I'm like, why did I think that was good? That's not good. Like then there's like, it's first thinking it's good, but then it's like on second glance, it's like, this is not good.
Yeah, that used to happen when I would get stoned more, which was
that might be it.
Oh, definitely. Oh my God. I had this whole like ritual where I would like, I'm gonna say this on camera. Whoopsie. Now I have a cat. Where I would like whatever gets stoned, and I would have all my painting, I would have everything around, like, so that I could just go right into it, like just get that visceral creative going. And I would be like, oh my God, I've like gotten the answers to the universe. And then you read it the next morning, you're like, what?
It's like, what was I thinking?
It's really
that might be why.
But it's kind of sweet. We're searching for something, right?
We're searching. We are. Well, I love your art exploration. I'll say it again.
Thank you.
You like I said many podcasts ago, you won the internet. I mean, you won the pandemic. You won the pandemic because you were dancing and painting and doing pottery and writing, and I was like, this woman has won the pandemic.
That's so funny.
I don't know of anyone else who was so on the ball in the best of ways.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for that feedback. I didn't necessarily feel like that, but I could see I was really just trying to stay above water. I feel like I was kind of like, like this. Like
Yes,
this. Let me
paddle
just do
dog.
something
or
like
dog.
this a little pleasurable, or I'm gonna like lose my shit altogether. So I think
Well,
that
it
is,
kept you sane, and I think you created some really wonderful pieces. So
thank you.
hooray, Ellen.
Anyway, boy, did we go off the track here. So I don't know. Anyway, that was fun. That was great. I
I don't
enjoyed that.
feel that we did. I don't feel
Okay,
we've
cool.
gone off track, but I thank you so much for bringing your dreams.
Thank you so much for listening to them. And
I do feel much happier now that I'm in the dream
so
space.
glad. And, sometimes we just need to connect, right? We need to
Yeah,
connect
it's
on this
true.
nice level. Like
Yeah.
I'm just you and I, but also just listeners out there. A lot of people feel really uncomfortable these days, as you know. And
Yes,
sometimes it just takes connecting a little bit with someone, just reaching out and just
I
having
think
a
so.
conversation about anything. It just,
Yes,
being seen, being heard, being mirrored. We need it as human beings. So reach out, do it.
reach out.
Yeah.
Yes, I am here to attest. It's a
Yeah.
very wonderful healing thing to do.
Yeah.
So, and lastly, I just wanted to say this one thing. A lot of our listeners, if you've been following our podcasts, you've heard me talk a lot about the imaginations, this journey I'm creating in my imaginal realm, in my imagination. And I have a prayer cathedral, and I think that that Brendan, our dear dream brother, had been in the prayer cathedral, but then he passed on. And I'm glad to say, it's my like one happy thing to say about him. I think I said this to you last time we did this, is that he's now on the council of my elders and ancestors. It doesn't have to be elder, the wisdom holders. And I just love having Brendan still in my life, in my life.
So sweet. I know. What a good soul. What a good soul. I didn't know him that well, but yeah,
Yes.
I knew some about him, and yeah.
I figured who better, he's the one that knew about this imaginal realm work I was doing. So who
Sorry,
better
hold on. Phone.
Oh.
Okay, phone off. Sorry.
Who better to kind of play with me in the imaginal realms once he's left his body? He knows I'm doing this work. So I just wonder, there's not been a point of like real connection. The first time I saw him in the imaginal realm, with my counsel, I think I told you he was wearing a brown robe. Did I tell you this? And I kissed the hem of his robe and like bent down to him. I just realized what a high being this is, and that we had.
Well, he had that in real. His energy. He was, I don't know, not his energy. His I was say his aura. His like being felt like I've said this before. He was like a Merlin or something.
Yes.
He just felt like he had like a real earth-based spiritual presence.
Yes.
And that sort of archetypical magician kind of, but very quiet, which is kind of like that, right? Sometimes people in that kind of a higher position, they're very quiet and they just give the wisdom when they need to give the wisdom. And that is kind of how I saw him.
Yes. Also physically, he physically looks like a wizard magician. Yes. It was so much a part of him.
Yeah.
He's magic. Yeah, I just wanted to share that because that lives on in my.
I'm so glad.
Imagination.
So glad. Bring him anytime.
Anytime. I'm glad. I really wish to heal a little bit. My son was talking about him earlier. Oh, he used to live with us and now he died. And okay, I hadn't really heard him talking about it.
Yeah.
So
he's processing it a little bit.
Yeah.
Oh.
So anyway, Ellen, thank you again for sharing your dreams. Wonderful.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Yiskah. Great to see you. And
really great to see you.
Yeah, hope the rest of your evening is good. And
thank you. And yours. And to our listeners, we say thank you for joining us, and We hope you have sweet dreams. Holamod Metukim.
Bye-bye.